way or another, if you know what I'm saying. The threat will be eliminated.
He's literally suggesting that somebody's going to kill Zohran right here. Let's watch this again.
Going to go for this. And I think they're going to take care of this one way or another, if you know what I'm saying. The threat will be eliminated. That is my
calling for violence. If that dude was a progressive talking about a Jewish candidate, we would hear nothing but this clip on every mainstream media network all across the country.
Yeah, it sounds like he's calling on the IDF to drone strike him or something, like unironically.
My humble opinion. I do not see this guy ended up winning.
He's not going to win. I just want to qualify because when
he heard exactly what he was saying. He was like, "Don't get us sued, dude. This guy's the Democratic nominee for mayor."
Say stuff like that. We are running a live interpretation. Adam, can you clarify what you really didn't mean?
The Vanguard will be there, sir.
Oh yeah, do you want to go ahead and prime everyone's palate? Give them all a little amuse-bouche a la Vanguard, okay? And let's talk about PBD, the Patrick Bateman podcast, right? This guy losing his ever-loving mind about Zohran Mamdani. Here are two clips from the last 48 hours. We don't have to react to them both, but I wanted to, at least chuck them on screen here. Mamdani is a terrible communist. Trump blasts Zohran as Marxist. Views exposed in shocking clip. And of course, it's the clip going around that Matt Taibbi shared and the one billionaire asshole from Silicon Valley shared to try and scare everyone of Zohran years ago being real, spitting. But what I thought was hilarious about this is in their effort to fearmonger, they forgot to pay attention at all. None of them live in New York City, so they probably didn't catch this on the upload, but it says a far left candidate shocks New York, beating Andrew Yang and openly calling for socialism and, quote, seizing the means of production, end quote, which I thought was hilarious because Andrew Yang did run in the last New York City mayoral primary, got fourth place, got absolutely, utterly humiliated, curb stomped. It wasn't even close, but this is obviously Andrew Cuomo that they meant to type.
Yeah, no, I thought that was hilarious. I was like, wait, what the fuck? Andrew Yang, he didn't run in this election. But yeah, and check out the rest of that response. The PBD, or that description, the PBD podcast breaks down the communist rhetoric, Trump's fiery response, media complicity. What? The media smeared Zohran at every turn. Imagine living in such an alternate universe that you think the media helped Zohran instead of trying to sabotage him at every single turn. You know what I'm saying? That's absolutely fucking crazy. Even the whole globalized the intifada thing is totally just a media created smear on Zohran. It's not even something he fucking said.
Yeah, which is crazy. He's just telling people what it meant. Even if he did say it, I would just say,
yeah, for sure. I wouldn't care. But he's smarter than to actually say that while running for the mayor of New York City, and they're going to just pretend like he did because he refuses to condemn it. That's fucking stupid.
Yep. And we can play the clip of him speaking that PBD was melting down about.
Go for it. Yeah.
Is about this entire project.
Listen to the phrase.
It's not simply to raise class consciousness, but to win socialism. And obviously raising class consciousness is a critical part of that. But making sure that we have candidates that both understand that and are willing to put that forward at every which moment that they have, at every which opportunity that they're given.
Yep.
We have to continue to elect more socialists, and we have to ensure that we are unapologetic about our socialism.
Right.
There are also
and this reminds me of when we first talked to Zohran, because he hasn't changed at all, guys. He's gotten more ambitious with what he's been able to accomplish. Obviously, he had tremendous success as a New York assemblyman in the short time that he was in Albany. And he was like, you know what? I can accomplish more as mayor of New York City. But his rhetoric hasn't changed at all. We do need more socialists. And he's talking about DSA endorsed candidates running within the Democratic primary. Okay, which is smart. And the exact strategy that Gavin and I have been beating over our fucking, hey, guys, be a socialist, but run in the Democratic primary, please, because otherwise you're not going to stand a snowball's chance in hell. You know what I mean? And he's saying the exact same shit. He continues to spit. And a lot of people change their tune by the time they're the Democratic nominee. He has not, which shows you he's the real deal. And that's why they're shitting their pants.
Yeah, 100%. Also, it's just such a stupid smear, as if people are going to get scared based on that. Obviously, when he says we need socialism, he doesn't just mean we're going to go shut down every private business on the fucking main street. We're going to go to every local mom and pop shop and say, hey, sorry, we have to shut down your business because this is now a socialist city and you're operating a capitalist organization. So get fucked, loser. Is that really what they think people are going to think this means? Because obviously what he's talking about is using the taxpayer money to actually further the needs of the community and improve the community with things like free busing and things like municipally run grocery stores to help people have access to healthy food. Like that's what he's talking about. And I think most people are smart enough to know that. But yeah, it's just such a ridiculous 1980s. Oh, the communism.
Do you know what it really, really reveals to me is that these guys are so Florida. They're so Florida. They're in MAGA land. They're deep in the armpit of America, the sweaty, wet, stinky armpit called Florida. Okay. And what is really, really, really popular for politicians in Florida to do? Fearmonger about communism, fearmonger about socialism, talk shit on Cuba. Why? Because the Cuban American electorate over there is very mobilized. It is a fact, right? Dave, we talk about the Dave Chappelle bit a lot, right? But the Ilio Rodriguez bit, where he's like, if that guy's name was Ilio Lumumbo, they would have just pushed his raft right back out to sea. But the Cubans have sway in those Florida elections, right? That has led to this, standard response, the standard programming, in the same way that because a lot of candidates in the New York primary pander to the Jewish population by spouting Zionism, in Florida, a lot of politicians pander to that Cuban American population by shitting on Fidel Castro, shitting on communism and socialism. And I just think they're so used to drinking that Kool-Aid that they definitely do believe it'll work when it won't.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
We can play a little bit more.
Other issues that we firmly believe in.
It's coming.
Whether it's BDS, right? Or whether it's the end goal of ceasing the means of production.
Okay, pause right there, Rob. Go back a little bit more. Go back a little bit. Okay, with the smile on his face, the end goal.
Smile on his
Press
face.
it. Do it again.
The end goal of ceasing the means
all
of
the
production.
socialists
Okay, go back
are going to storm the
Valuetainment
Valuetainment studios. We're all going to get together, storm the Valuetainment studios, and seize PBD Productions away from Patrick and his crew of idiots. That's the real ultimate goal of this project, guys.
Viva la revolution.
Yep.
And say, what famous author used that phrase? Don't say anything.
Okay.
Just we want to go through. Say it one more time, Rob. Pay attention, folks. Go ahead.
Goal of ceasing the means of production.
What does he say? What's the line?
Means in production?
Seize the means of production. Okay.
Gosh,
Okay,
where did
now,
I read
Rob,
that?
What
By
the
the
fuck?
way,
Did they
first of all,
lose their? Did they lose their studio? Did it get repoed or something? Like, what the? Does he owe money to the IRS? Like, what the fuck? This looks
is
way shittier.
This is actually where Vinny gets his homeschooling. He's trying to get his GED. So PBD, in an effort to encourage him. He has a tutor come in. They work on the times table, the basic American history. This is the capital of Wyoming, whatnot.
Like this looks where they would. This looks like where they would get ready before the actual show starts. You know what I'm saying? Like the little office area where they eat lunch or something. Like what the fuck is going on?
It's supposed to make him look academic. I guarantee you, it's supposed to make him look smart. Like this is like a library kind of a vibe.
Then he has a stormtrooper. He also has the Batman in another part of his house. There's that one video of him trying to give the Batman statue to one of his guests. And it's just I don't really want that.
I'm rich, dude. I would not buy that. I think that's tacky.
He must have done this podcast on Christmas because that's an ugly sweater he's wearing. But if you go on ChatGPT,
ugly sweater.
Type in what author or which economist used the phrase "and the means of production." Okay,
Not even
which economist used the phrase
"the means of production"?
"and the means of production"?
Oh my god!
Such a fucking idiot.
End the means of production. That would just be like an anarcho what was it? Anarcho primitivist. Yeah, just end all the industry, end all the capitalism. We're not going to replace it with anything. We're going back to fucking teepees, and you know what I'm saying? Like we're going back to
thoughts on anarchism are utterly and completely irrelevant. That's what Noam Chomsky told us when Gavin asked him about anarcho primitivism.
Okay. And the means of production, seizing production, famously comes from who? Karl Marx.
Bro, you didn't have to ask ChatGPT. You could just Google that. What the fuck? You don't have to ask ChatGPT. Now we're just using ChatGPT for things that you don't even need it for.
And that's wrong.
Wait, is it? Is that not who said it?
Oh no, I just feel like they didn't. Oh, they do. Okay, they did say he did not say "and the means of production" because in Marx's theory, the means of production. Okay, they does correct him. Okay, bet.
I was like, everyone knows it's Marx, bro. And again, you could just use Google for that. Why do you have to ask fucking ChatGPT, who said a very famous quote?
Yeah, it was, and I was surprised that it was even right because if you ask ChatGPT, what's the origin of the phrase, it takes 2 hamburgers to go to Las Vegas? It'll be like, this is a very common phrase that people are saying, it takes 2 hamburgers to go to Las Vegas. And then it'll like make up something because it doesn't not want to tell you the answer.
Is that a fake phrase?
Yeah, I mean, I just made it up.
Okay, I was like, did I miss that one?
You know,
what the fuck?
Yeah, that's why I made it up. I was like, it takes 2 hamburgers to go to Las Vegas, baby.
Philosophy economists who famously associated with the phrase, the proletarians have nothing to lose but their chains. They have a world to win. Workers of the world unite. The abolition of private property in the means of production, right?
He doesn't even know how to read.
Of production.
He's looking at it and it tells him right there. Oh,
and the means of production. He can't grapple with the fact he can't try to make workers seizing the means of production sound scary enough, so he just has to change it to they're going to end the means of production. The workers are going to show up and they're going to say, stop the production. We're all going home to masturbate and play Xbox. Fuck work. That's the real socialist agenda.
The 426-9 work week.
So now he is a communist. So this guy wants to go in that direction. And then President Trump responds to it, I believe, this morning. Rob, if you have that clip when he responds to it. And then, Tom, I'm going to come to you first. We're going to save our economist, Vinny, at the end, but we're going to come, Tom, I'm going to come to you first. I'm going to go from the lowest. Go ahead, Rob. Play this clip.
I think it's terrible. He's a communist. The last thing we need is a communist. I said there will never be socialism in the United States. Now we have a communist. So I think it's bad news. And I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with him, watching him, because he has to come right to this building to get his money.
They've never heard of the voice isolation feature over at Fox News. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this is some dog shit. Although people say that Trump does like to stand like as close to the helicopter as possible, so it's like almost impossible to hear him for some reason. I forget the actual logic behind that, but people say that politicians like to do that.
Interesting.
I've heard he's a total nut job.
Plausibly say I didn't hear correctly.
I think the people in New York are crazy. If they go this route, I think they're crazy. We will have a communist for the first time, really, a pure, true communist.
Hell yeah.
To operate the grocery stores, the department stores. What about the people that are there? I think it's
go for it.
So there's a couple things here. First of all,
and we can move on to the next one because I think this clip is all just Tom, and I don't really give a fuck about their stupid.
Tom is so boring. I'm
yeah,
like, who the
he's
fuck
just
are
whining
you,
and bitching and moaning. Oh, they're like, do you want the price of goods to go up? Because that's what's going to happen, folks.
They're going to be selling rats in the city-owned communist grocery store, just like in Venezuela. It's basically what New York City is going to turn into, Zach.
It's crazy what they titled the second video, Gavin.
Oh
AOC plus jihad equal Zohran Mamdani. Bill Ackman warns NYC's future in danger of socialist wins. Guys, you guys might know the name Bill Ackman because he is potentially the most deranged Zionist in all of New York City. He's a billionaire. He put different students' faces up on billboards and had trucks drive them around to try and dox them, to try and get them kicked out of their universities during demonstrations. He's an absolute crazy person, and now he's going whole hog for Andrew Cuomo and Eric Adams, and he's calling for unity. And he was on Twitter today saying that he was going to be working to get the Republican candidate to drop out and endorse Cuomo. So that's the kind of guy that we're dealing with. Fortunately, he did also concede that there was no time to get anybody besides Eric Adams or Andrew Cuomo on Twitter this morning. So we know that means that they're really fucked.
Yeah. Yeah. And this shit is so fucking racist, the jihad thing. Like, for one, Zohran's not even that kind of Muslim. Like, he's a very chill, like liberal kind of Muslim, almost more like culturally Muslim than truly religiously. You know how like a lot of people, they'll identify as Christian or Jewish, but they're not like a hardcore,
Steve Bannon
believer.
Or Mike Pompeo.
Right. They're not like a fucking insane believer in everything that's in that text. They're just like, yeah, this is my culture. I relate to it. I don't want to like throw it under the bus or whatever. I kind of get those vibes from Zohran. I don't follow him, his religious beliefs that much, but it's not like he's the kind of Muslim that's in favor of women wearing burqas and shit like that. People have been posting all those photos of his wife, wearing quite the opposite of a burqa. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's just not that kind of Muslim. He's not in favor of like Sharia law and shit. It's so fucking stupid.
I mean, yeah, like what 1% of the American Muslim population would probably identify as in favor of any of that crazy stuff. It's just a caricature. And what's so transparent about this is that when you really look at it, the people who are trying to put their religion on top of everyone are the people like Patrick Bet-David, are the people who are in the Republican Party, or the people who have made Christianity so central to their political message. They're the one that want us to live under like Judeo-Christian rule, which really to them just means Christian rule, but with Israel as our ally, so that
a lot of them
go
will
to heaven.
A lot of them will literally cite the Bible when they're talking about that shit. Yeah, as far as our policy in Israel and, you know, with our aggression towards Iran. And then they want to turn around and accuse the government of Iran of being too theocratic or whatever. It's like, bro, you're literally justifying a fucking holy war right now. But yeah, it's absolutely outrageous.
Exactly. I mean, and then the last point about that, just look at the text that we saw from former governor of Arkansas, Mike Huckabee, sent to Donald Trump, talking about how God was on his side as he was like crusading, like basically trying to like use religion and spirituality as a way of motivating Donald Trump to do a religious holy war, as Gavin put it. Yet they'll accuse the guy of like Zohran Mamdani of being a jihadist just because of his faith, just because of his cultural connection to his religion. And even if he is a devout Muslim, who gives a fuck, right? These are the people that are really trying to steer our country into a theocratic, you know, monopolistic fucking hellhole that we have it under this like oligarchy basically.
Yeah, and again, if he actually was the kind of Muslim that was like, I think I want to change the law in New York City to make it so that every woman has to wear a burqa, like obviously he wouldn't have won the fucking Democratic nomination. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy to think that people just wouldn't have realized that. Like, yeah, people would have realized. People understand the
or
fucking.
that he wouldn't be able to implement it anyway. Like it's just fucking crazy.
Yeah. But either way, let's take a look at this.
To defeat socialism, Mamdani in New York City. Ackman, who's a $10 billion announces
Weird.
intent to fund a centrist candidate.
This is weird. Let me try refreshing this.
Bill Ackman.
Out to Karl Marx.
What the fuck?
It's the best analysis I've ever heard from the PBD guys.
Yeah, that's so weird. Let me try.
LOL, our own stream. Want to watch our own stream?
Marx. What
does this
Bill
have
Ackman
audio? Like I'm
promises
so
to
confused
fund
over what's
centrist.
happening.
And Adam, I'm coming to
Yeah, I'm not hearing shit.
I'm gonna try sharing again. This is weird. Sorry, DIY program.
It's all good. No one gives a fuck. It's funny if anything.
announces intent to fund a centrist candidate.
Maybe try
Challenge him,
opening another.
Mamdani, to present
one of these
the
other
Democratic
clips over here and
nominee
see if
and a
it's played.
All right, Ryan, let's move on to the Diddy trial.
What the fuck?
Yes, so
This is weird.
Sean Diddy
See
Combs
if this works.
is not walking up.
And Elon is this guy, or one of the richest guys.
What the fuck?
Oh wait, hold on.
Oh, apparently people are saying they can hear it. So it might just be our end.
All right, I think I got it, guys. I think we fixed it. Here we go.
Sorry, we're incompetent. Everyone's like, you fucking idiots. What did our microphone or our headphones get unplugged?
Something like that. Who knows? Anyway, we don't pay for producers over here, folks. That's why we don't read advertisements. All right, ready?
Bill Ackman promises to fund centrist. And Adam, I'm coming to you. Candidate to defeat socialism, Mamdani in New York City mayoral race. Ackman, who's a $10 billion guy, announces intent to fund a centrist candidate. Challenge him, Mamdani, to presumptive Democratic nominee and a Democratic socialist in New York City mayoral race. Who's your best centrist candidate who would go toe-to-toe with Mamdani in the campaign trail and on the debate stage? Let's crowdsource the names and then do a poll. If someone is ready to raise their hand, I will take care of the fundraising. Mamdani, also a member of the Democratic Socialists of America and a Working Family Party, defeated former Governor Andrew Cuomo. So now you're getting guys like Bill Ackman getting involved who are not wanting this. Adam, your thoughts on this?
There's so much to unpack here with this guy. And this is a story that is not going to be going away until the election actually happens in November. So it's like, what do you get when you mix AOC and jihad? You get Zohran Mamdani. So in my opinion, PBD, you've interviewed how many mafia types?
He doesn't even talk about Islam more than basically any other fucking candidate. Like if he was just a white guy that did not identify as Muslim, but had the exact same policies, like obviously they couldn't use that line. It's just because he says he's a Muslim, but he doesn't even he barely even fucking talks about it.
Even if this guy was a Christian, okay, even if he was a Hindu, they would just still fucking trot out the same line because they're racist. It's about how he looks. It's about the fact that he's from a country called Uganda and not United States of America. That's really what it comes down to, I think.
Type guys, New York City type guys. In my humble opinion, I don't think New York City is going to go for this. And I think they're going to
they already did,
take care of this one.
Your guy lost by 100,000 votes.
Yeah.
way or another, if you know what I'm saying. The threat will be eliminated.
He's literally suggesting that somebody's going to kill Zohran right here. Let's watch this again.
Going to go for this. And I think they're going to take care of this one way or another, if you know what I'm saying. The threat will be eliminated. That is my
calling for violence. If that dude was a progressive talking about a Jewish candidate, we would hear nothing but this clip on every mainstream media network all across the country.
Yeah, it sounds like he's calling on the IDF to drone strike him or something, like unironically.
My humble opinion. I do not see this guy ended up
saying
winning.
He's not going to win. I just want to qualify because when
he heard exactly what he was saying. He was like, "Don't get us fucking sued, dude. This guy's the Democratic nominee for mayor."
Say stuff like that. We are running a live interpretation. Adam, can you clarify what you really didn't mean?
I'm saying that I don't think that the establishment is going to let this guy win.
That's right.
We're talking about Bill Ackman.
Fucking crazy racist asshole. This is a psychopath here.
Right now, and how he's going to basically say, "I'm here. I have your back. I'm to the rescue. Give me your best centrist candidate, and quote unquote, I will take care of the fundraising. I will take care of the rest." So, what's happening with this guy is this is the perfect foil to whatever Donald Trump stands for. This is American capitalism versus global socialism, jihadism. And you notice that he keeps saying, "Oh, he's a
sign me up for the global socialism jihadism. I'm on jihad for socialism."
Communist. He's a communist. So, and by the way, let's just not gloss over what he said in that quote. He says, we're going to hear and bring socialism, whether you believe in BDS, aka, killing all the Jews, or
that is not what that fucking means at all, bro. AKA killing all the Jews. These people will just say fucking anything. It's like I said with the globalized, the intifada thing. He didn't even fucking say it. All these news outlets and idiots and Kristen Gillibrand, they're literally just acting like this is something he put on his fucking website, like zohranmandami.com/globalize the intifada, like it's one of his planks of his platform or something. I also saw some other fucking, unhinged Zionist account tweeting out like the most obvious fucking parody of a Zohran tweet that was like, "I fucking hate America," or like something that just some leftist made as a satire of what right wingers are saying. But then the right wingers were running with it. They were like, "Wow, look at this tweet of Zohran saying, 'Suck it, America, eat shit,'" from like 1986 or something.
Bro, that with the Challenger,
yeah,
people didn't fucking fall for that. It was deranged.
And it's like they'll literally just there's no low. They'll just use anything to smear this guy.
Also, he pearl clutches about violence from BDS rhetoric and violence after just calling for trying to be tongue-in-cheek, calling for violence, suggesting that there should be violence done against Zohran Mamdani to prevent him from being mayor. He wants to pearl clutch about where people go shopping when the whole fucking crux of his worldview and ideology is that you should be free to buy whatever the fuck you want. This is so fucking maddening.
Seizing the means of production, shout out to Karl Marx. What could go wrong here? It's not like we have countless examples of the problems that socialism and communism bring to the table. And then here's my final point. You see the numbers, and I'm sure we'll get into it, of Gen Z and college-educated Gen Z, college-educated female Gen Z who are voting for this in New York. And I'm saying this hypothetically, sarcastically, but almost literally.
This is why women
there's a
shouldn't
big
get
portion
educated
of
and have a job. This is why fucking feminism is wrong. Now we get communist jihadists running the biggest city in the country because women just have to get educated and go to work. Like, can you believe this, bro?
That's literally what he's saying. His whole argument is that women shouldn't go to college. That's so nuts. This is what trad wife culture gets you guys.
Gen Z that needs to go to American re-education camps. And I know what that basically means, re-education camps. I'm not talking about, the really, really bad kind. But there's a whole segment of society that genuinely needs to be re-educated.
So people hate democracy, but sorry.
No, I was just going to say, so not only does he want to have politicians he disagrees with maimed, killed, made unable to perform their duties after they've been freely and democratically elected, if they are, right? But he also wants to take everyone who disagrees with him and put them in camps, right?
It sounds like the stereotype of communism that he's trying to fearmonger about. He's literally advocating for it.
Alligator Alcatraz.
Yeah. And again, like fucking re-education camps. It's the same thing they try to fearmonger about. Oh, that's what China's doing with the, you know, the Xinjiang or whatever
The Uyghur Muslims.
Yeah, the Uyghur Muslims. You know, like I don't even know enough about that situation to really have an opinion on it myself. But it's it's just fucking projection. They're like, aren't you afraid of the socialist communist guy? You know what those people do. Also, we should put everyone we disagree into a fucking concentration camp and kill their political leaders.
On what America is and what America is not. And America is not Zohran Mamdani. You're telling me that a democratic socialist communist jihadist is going to be mayor of the
Tulsi Gabbard
epicenter of capitalism where Wall Street exists? This makes no sense. If you want to understand that you're living in bizarro world,
Bro's never flown to New York City. He's never been to LaGuardia Airport. Turns out they've had a socialist mayor before, and it worked out all right.
Yeah. Also, literally, that's what the people fucking voted for, bro. Sorry that you hate democracy, but yeah, the people that live in that city who have already existed under the rule of fucking Andrew Cuomo before said, hey, that didn't really work out for us. He didn't, you know, improve our conditions, so now we're going to try something else. Deal with it. Sorry that you don't like the fucking outcome of, you're not a fucking citizen of New York. Go register to vote there. Go move there if you want to contribute to their democratic decisions. But shut the fuck up, bro. Even the people in the financial district voted for Zohran Mamdani.
this is it.
You know, Matt, Adam, and you made a great point, but the one thing I'm going to disagree with, you're saying that the establishment won't do this, they won't do that. You even answered your own question. You corrected yourself. That vote, that 25-year-old and older, I had a guy connect me that was like, Vinny, the older people, the rich people, we had this conversation. They're not, Adam, they don't even know what the hell's going on because those 25-year-olds that are watching AOC, they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram. That's that audience that he's getting, and he can win, Adam. I think he's going to win, okay? Because the older people, the really wealthy, Adam, that $123 billion, they're going to move. They're going to leave. That number's probably dropping right now. And you nailed it. He's a freaking
They're not going to leave. They're going to threaten to leave, and then they're going to stay right the fucking New York City like they always do.
communist. He aligns himself with the jihadists. There's a video of him where he will not denounce Sharia law. And that's a whole nother conversation we'll get into. But you know what,
I guess I was wrong. Guys, I guess I was wrong, guys. I said he was the kind of Muslim that was not in favor of Sharia. I got to eat my words. Not even an hour into the stream. Sorry, guys.
From this very reliable source.
Let him win. Okay, I'm dead serious. Let the people who keep voting for this BS, just like California, let them feel it. Like Bernie Sanders says, let them feel the burn. Okay, you want this sympathizing jihadist, want to be communist in charge of New York? Let them do it. Okay, let them flood the street with crime. Let the businesses collapse. Let the rats take over Times Square because that's what you're going to get.
Honestly, sounds good to me. We need cheaper rent in New York. Gavin and I were like, oh man, if we're ever going to live in New York and experience that, the rent has got to be cheaper. So I hope all the rich people leave and sell their property for cheap.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that's not going to fucking happen. That's not going to fucking happen. For one, as people have even said on our show, like, don't even get your expectations too crazy. Even if Zohran does win, he doesn't have like sweeping fucking executive powers, the likes of which we might hope. There's not that much shit you can actually do as the mayor of New York City. At least that's according to some of the people that have come on our show from the city of New York. They're like, careful, like, don't get too optimistic. It's not like he can just snap his fingers and make New York City like a communist utopia. So again, even if you hate everything he stands for, it's not like he's going to just destroy capitalism. It's not like he's just going to, bring about a new socialist era. I wish.
Yeah.
To all the New Yorkers, keep doing it. You guys keep doing it. And every time they have somebody to oppose these freaking psychos, nobody does it. You know why? Because you're loyal to your party. It's freaking madness, and it's stupid, but good. Let them do it, Adam. Let them have it. But
also,
Adam,
like, do you think that they're actually, this Bill Ackman asshole or whatever, do you think anyone's actually going to be successful, like recruiting some other centrist, independent type candidate to run in the general election?
No, he said on Twitter today he wasn't going to do that. That's what I was
saying.
Oh,
really?
That's what I was saying earlier. Yeah, he
Okay.
already came out and said that it has to be Andrew Cuomo or Eric Adams, and that he's going to be giving tremendous efforts getting that beret-wearing guy to drop out. That was Bill Ackman came out and said that this morning on Twitter.
I was a little bit confused. Gotcha.
Yeah. He came out and said there's not time for them to get anybody new on the ballot, not time to get their name recognition up. He said it has to be Eric Adams or Andrew Cuomo. And to me, that just means they're giving up. And I think that's why a guy like Vinny wants to be right. He comes out here and he's like, I think you're crazy, bro. I think he is going to win. And that's because they do not, we already had this outcome, right? We have a curb stomping, 100,000 votes. Do you think Andrew Cuomo is going to make up 100,000 votes on Zohran when Zohran is actively campaigning every single day and he's never been more popular and he's never had higher name recognition? No way.
Yeah, that's crazy. I 100% think Zohran's gonna win. But yeah, that's pretty funny to watch these losers freak out. They're going so hard with the jihad thing. Like obviously I'm never shocked by how low these fucking scumbag racists go. Obviously, we lived through the Obama era. You know, they claimed he was born in Africa. Well, Zohran actually fucking was born in Africa. So it's not like I'm shocked to see this level of racism. But again, it's just so fucking mind-numbingly stupid. It's so fucking mind-numbingly stupid.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Anyway, that was what I mostly had. I just wanted to show everybody they're shitting their pants, okay? And the dumbest dude on the panel is the only one willing to say the obvious, which is that Zohran is going to win the race.
Yeah.
So anyway,
yeah,
do you want to get
unhinged
into the TYT shit at all?
Yeah, let's take a look at this TYT debate from the other night on air. Bit of an interesting exchange between Cenk and Anna. Anna specifically seems pretty fed up. And that led to pretty fascinating admission, I would say.
Interesting. I haven't seen
He says he's going to keep spending more and more money into politics.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, wait, was that time stamped?
Yeah, let's.
Oh, shit, I haven't.
Oh, you're
36.
Yeah, start at 36. Oops. Or even 35. Just to get a little more context.
Money into politics.
Yeah,
so.
in fact, he was a lot more threatening toward Trump yesterday, and also anyone who votes in favor of the so-called big beautiful bill. He had posted on X, it is obvious with the insane spending of this bill, which increases
Look out the door if you hear an ambulance. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there. Be there.